All right, music fans, welcome. Harmless Dave here on the Harmless Dave channel, documenting the end of the classic rock era and doing it in real time for a couple of people out here, just like you there, and just like me here. All right, I've been featuring this album, Rose's Pawn Shop. This is a really cool band. Check them out. The album here is called Punch Drunk Life. Punch Drunk Life, and it's great music, Americana sounding stuff. Just go listen to the band. You might like it, you might not. All right, but it's my current recommendation, courtesy, I believe, of Blue Elon Records, which is a really cool record label. So check out all their stuff. They were having a big sale. I'm not sure if the sale ended, but if you want to own physical product, you might want to check it out. All right. So this story is interesting. Motley Crue's Nikki Sixx doesn't think it's cool when rock stars act 25 and they're 65. Motley Crue. We're talking about Motley Crue here. So Nikki Sixx thinks it's uncool, but yet haven't these guys been doing a lot of this stuff lately? A friend of mine went to a Motley Crue concert not too long ago and said it was kind of like Sodom and Gomorrah, because the drummer, Tommy Lee, encourages people to remove their clothing and to whip out their stuff. All right. And the guys, too, by the way, he encourages the guys because you shouldn't just let the ladies do it. So the guys have to whip out their junk at the Motley Crue concerts. My friend was mortified. All right. And this guy is talking to WTHR TV. He says, life changes, man. Yeah, it does. But yet you still look like you're trying to be 25. And then you're telling people to act kind of ridiculous. But this is the interview. He says that rock stars should act their age. Now, you can be cool, by the way, at any age. And debauchery, okay, isn't cool no matter what age you're at. So these guys have been doing this stuff for, I don't know, like 45 years or so now. And is it okay? Some of the fans seem to think it's okay. But this is what Nikki Sixx said. Life changes, man. It's cool that it changes. The thing I don't like is when I see artists that are trying to still act like they're 25 and they're 65. You know, Anthony Cumia, who was part of Opie and Anthony, he did this amazing video about David Lee Roth recently. I watched it twice. Anthony Cumia is a smart guy. And years ago, he woke up. You know, he got out of the Matrix and he woke up. And he was commenting on certain parts of David Lee's anatomy and how he didn't want to see them. Okay, he didn't want to see it up close. You know what I mean? And I've said, you know, get some bell bottoms or something. Get some baggy jeans and a flannel shirt or something. You could reinvent yourself as a grunge guy. Now, do I like grunge music? No, but their fashion was way better overall. It was way better. Just saying. Some people are going to say, well, you went from cocaine to heroin. And so I'm talking about the clothes, not talking about substance abuse. Okay. It does evolve as different musical eras take shape. But he goes on to say, I don't think it's cool for the fans. Evolution is evolution. We all age, we all change, we all have different interests, and Motley Crue seems to have ridden that wave pretty good. Just letting it be real. What do you mean they've ridden that wave pretty good? They've been on that same wave of acting way younger than their age. Their wardrobe really hasn't changed all that much. They did lose Mick Mars, who left the band, and I believe over maybe creative differences or just not getting along with these guys that much. I think they have Johnny Five or John Five or whatever he calls himself now. He's a good player. It's just I mess up names all the time, so it's John Five. Um, so Nikki Sixx also noted how he's grown as an individual over the years. Again, this is the same band where the drummer posted pictures of his junk on Facebook. And Facebook, by the way, left it out there. Sorry for the pun, but they left it out there for quite some time before they pulled it down. All right. So this stuff just writes itself, people. It just does. But these guys are evolving. He's evolving as a lyricist. It goes from the rawest to the raw to the most heartfelt. Okay, we went rawest to raw to heartfelt. All right. And that's just as I grew as a man and my interests evolved. Is he speaking for the rest of the band? He says, according to me, the band isn't in a rush ever to make music. Well, that might be good in a way, especially nowadays. We don't have to be in a rush. In my case, I've got a 6.5-year-old daughter, Ruby, who's amazing, he said. Now, how old is this guy? I'm not saying you can't have kids at a certain age, but he's 66. He's got a kid 6.5, which, cool. I mean, kids will keep you young for a while, and then they'll wear you out, and then you'll be old really fast. And so I want to not be in a rush to work constantly so I can enjoy. Sounds like he's finally settling down. Took him, 45 years or so to settle down. Good for him. He doesn't want to rush to work so I can enjoy that part of it and then go out there and play for the fans. Nikki noted that it's about balance for him. No reflections on if this is what the rest of the band are into, but apparently, Nikki Sixx is starting to settle down. He says, we spend a lot of time outside. The whole point of being here is to be really outside, whether you're into skiing or fishing or hiking or being up on the lakes or snowmobiling. He noted that they enjoyed how social the area was. So where is he from? I don't know. Jackson Hole. That's what he's talking about. So that's a cool place. I guess he spends time there, which must terrorize the locals a little bit up there. Wow. All right. So bottom line here is a band that essentially has made their living off of debauchery is telling the world, at least Nikki Sixx is telling the world, that he's maybe grown out of it. He's settling down. He wants to spend time with his family. Those are all good things. It's just kind of weird. Will there be any more Sodom and Gomorrah moments at Motley Crue concerts? Well, I guess that's up to Nikki and Tommy Lee, who tends to be the disruptive one in this band. And nothing about Vince Neil, whether he's sounding good these days or not. I'm sure, for what it is, it's okay. That's what people say. For what it is, it's okay. So go see Motley Crue because they're growing up and they're settling down. There you go. All right. Another useless video in the can before I go. Again, promoting this band, Rose's Pawn Shop. No embarrassing attire here, just great music played by very great musicians. So check them out. This album is called Punch Drunk Life. It's not climbing the charts. It's not on anyone's radar except for mine. And, check it out if you want to. Like I say, my recommendations are always optional. You could just ignore it. You could pretend you didn't even hear it. Thanks for supporting this channel, by the way. There's Patreon if you want to do a membership. Also, Buy Me a Coffee. There's also a YouTube membership, which is a little different than Patreon. And then there's PJ Rock Super Chats over on YouTube as well. All right. We are officially in the Christmas season. So, like I often say, though, Jesus is the reason for every season. But At this time of year, maybe a little bit more attention should be focused on the King of Kings who came to this world as a rescuer. And it's a free gift, by the way, much like what you get at Christmas. But it's the best gift of all, Jesus. All right? So there you go. All right, I'm done. See you soon.